Hello friend, welcome to last episode of HTML course, in which we will be adding all our knowledge about HTML in a website. This is the website that we will be creating, and you can see that it has more features. It has social media buttons, it has call to action buttons, there is animation, and you can customize it for your own website. So let's start. So first we have to create a folder. So let's create a folder so we can open it in a Visual Studio Code. Let's give it a name, website. Now inside this I will paste assets that we will be using in our website. Now you can see there are different types of assets. There are SVGs, illustration, GIF type, and with PNG. We will be using SVG for icons because they are very small in size and its quality doesn't destroy when we resize them, unlike PNG or JPG files. So we will be using SVG, and you can download them from Flat Icon where they provide free icons, and we have illustration, you can see that, and you can download this illustration from Lottie Animation where they provide free animations and you can convert them to GIF. And I have a logo in a PNG and I will be using it. Now let's open this folder in a Visual Studio Code. So this is the Visual Studio Code. Let's open a folder that we have created. Go to desktop and this is the folder. Select the folder. So as you can see, these are the assets that we have pasted in the folder. First we have to create a new HTML file. So let's give it a name, home.html. Now click enter. Now this is the place where we will be writing the HTML code. This is the website. So first thing we have to do is to change the app icon, then change the title. Now after this, to creating this layout, we have to create a table which will have 3 rows. This is the first one with 1 column, and the second one has 2 columns, and the third one is 1 column. For using 1 column in a first and using 2 column in a second, we have to span the first column with the second one. For this we will be using call span. Now second is simple, and for third one also we have to use this call span. Now inside the second row, first column, we will be creating a table of 2 columns. In first one we will be writing this text, and in second one we will be using this animation. Now in second column of second row we will be creating this text, and we will be dividing these lines with BR break, and we will be using these links with images. And in the third row we will be simply using 1 column and we will be writing this text. Now let's dive into coding. Now let's start with the HTML. So first we will be adding icon. So for this we use this link, which will be icon, and we will be giving the source by using ref, and which is the logo.png. Now let's close the tag and let's save it. So when we run our website, you will see that our icon is changed. Now let's close this. Now second thing we have to do is to change this document to home. Let's move on to body. In body we will be using some style so it looks better. For this, first we will be using margin. And another thing is background color. And the color, and this color will apply to all. It will give the whitish color. So let's write it, and we will be using FEFEFE hash. And also font family, and for font family we will be using Helvetica. So Helvetica. Now we are done with the body. Now inside the body we have to create a table which will contain 3 rows. Let's give a style to table. We will be removing the border, so border will be 0. Let's give it a height, let's say 625 px. Width will be 1366. We will be using border collapse, so border collapse is collapse. Now we are done with this. Now let's create 3 rows. So first one is tr, and inside this let's first give the style to tr. So style, first width, Width will be 1366. Height will be 50 px. Now background color will be hex code, which is 283036. Now we are done with the row styling. Now inside this, let's create a column td, and let's give a spam that we have, and we will be giving 2 because we are spamming 2 columns. And inside this we will be creating a table. So let's give a style to table first. So table style, border will be 0, and align to center. Background color will be hash. Let's give it a width. And height of 50 px. Now inside this we will be creating a table. So before we do that, let's go to view and click on the toggle word wrap. So it will show everything in this screen, and we don't have to scroll out. Now let's create a table. And inside this table we will be giving style. Let's give a border 0, align it in the center. Background color will be the previous one, 283036. Now let's give it a width. Width will be 1355 px, and height will be 50 px. Also we will be using cell spacing, which is 1, and cell padding 1. Now we are done with that. Now let's create rows in a table. We will be creating one row, and inside one row there will be 3 columns. So let's write tr, and inside this we will be creating 3 rows. First, let's give it a height of 50. Now as you know that we have first to give a logo. So in first column we will be using logo. So let's give a width 100 px. Now inside this we will be using image, and for image we use source, which will be the logo. And let's click on the logo.png. Let's give it a width and height of 50. So now we are done with the logo. Now let's move on to second column, in which we will be using text, which will say courses with mask. So for this first we have to style the column. So style, and style we will be align this text in center. So for this we will be using center. Now let's give it a width of 400 and height of 50. So width, now inside this column we will be using paragraph. So let's say paragraph. We can also use heading, which will be proper, but for now let's create a paragraph, and inside this paragraph let's give it a style. So style for color, so it will be already white, so we don't have to use the color. Now text align will be center. Font family, now it will be also font family of Helvetica, so we don't have to use it. Now we have to use the font size, which will be 20 px, and let's inside create a bold. So the text will be bold. Now we have created the second column. Now let's create third one, which will contain all the social media links. So we have to create 4 columns for that. So in first one we will be giving the first style. So style will be align in center. Width will be 25. So now we have to create a link. So for this we use a, and inside this we will be using ref, which will be the link of the website that we will be going through. So let's say https. Now let's give it a title, which is Twitter. Now let's close this. So inside this we will be using image. So when we click on it, the image, so it will go to the my Twitter account. So let's write image and let's give it a source, and which is the Twitter dot svg. Also let's give it a height of 30 px. Now we have created the first one. Now let's copy these and paste it 4 times. So now we are done with the first row, which is the head of the website. Now we have to create second row in our table, which will be starting from here. So let's create a second row. So in second row we will be creating 2 columns. So let's create a first column TD and the second column. So in first column we have to create table, which will contain another 2 columns. So let's create a table. First we have to give a little bit style to our row. So let's give it a style. Now in TD we will be giving a style of height, which will be max content, and width will be 1000 px. Now I am using these numbers because I have calculated for my website at how much will be the layout. So you can calculate it for your own. Now let's create a table, and inside this table first let's give a style of border 0. Now inside this table we will be creating a row, and one row will be contain 2 columns. So let's create a row, and this row will contain 2 columns. So in first column let's first give it a style. So style will be height. So height will be max content, and width will be 500 px. Now inside this column we will be creating a paragraph in which we will be writing text. So let's give it a style to paragraph style. Let's create a font size, and font size will be 50 px, and padding to left will be 100 px, means it will move from left to right 100 px. Line height, and the line height means that the distance between these 2 lines will be decreased. So line height will be 50 px. Now let's create our text. So now here we will be using break to move to second line. So br. Now we will be using another text, but it will be not bold. So let's create it. So now here we will also use dot as a little bit for style, and here also. Now we are done with the paragraph. Now let's move on to second column. So here we will be writing TD where we will be using animation. So let's give it a first style, which will be 5 px, and inside this we will be using image. So image height will be 450 px, and width, for width we will be giving 450, same as the height, and also the source. So let's give it outside of the style source, and which will be illustration dot gif. Now let's close this. Now we have created in second row first column. Now we have to create the second column. So I have already created this column. Now in this column we will be creating the call to action, which is the second row second column. So now first give a style. So for style use background color, and the background color will be little bit changed from other. So inside this we will be creating table which will contain one row and one column. So for one column and one row, let's give it a style to table. So style, now inside the TD let's say align, and let's say center. Now inside this column we will be creating a paragraph. Let's give it a style to paragraph. So style, now let's write text inside the paragraph. So it will be bold, and let's say start here. Now we have to create another table. So for this we will be writing table, and also let's give a style to it. Now let's create a row. So row, and inside this we will be creating 3 columns. So let's create 3. First and last will be the same, and in the middle we will be working on it. So for first one we will be using width, and let's copy this, and this will go same for the third one. Now we will be working inside the second column. So let's align it in the center. Now let's create a paragraph. Let's style the paragraph. Let's say text, alignment center. Font size will be 25 px, and let's write mail as text. Now we have to create a hyperlink, so we can click on the picture. So let's say ref, and we will see mail to, and here you can write your Gmail. So when someone click on that image, it will automatically show your Gmail. So I will be using mask. Now let's close it, and inside this we will be using image, and image source is email.svg. Let's give it a height of 50 px, and width will be also 50. Now let's close it. Now we have to create the same thing again, so let's copy this and paste it below. We will be here using colors, and we will be removing this. Inside this we will be creating a number. Let's change the email to phone call svg, and now we are done with the second row. So now we have to create a third row. So third row will be starting from here. So let's write tr, and inside this there will be simply one column. So let's write td. First let's give a style to row. So style width will be 1355 px, and height will be, let's say, 50 px. Background color will be this one. So now we'll move on to td, and inside this we will be using call span as we have used for the first column. Inside this we will be creating a paragraph. You can add address or anything you want. So let's give a style. Now let's write text here. So now as you can see that we are done with our code. Now you can see there are some errors. Let's find out and remove them. So the second one is somewhere there. There is. Now let's change to this. Now there is no serious error here. Now let's save it. Now let's run our website. So run active file. So now as you can see that we have successfully created our website by simply coding and that. And you can customize it. And that's it for today. And this is the end of the HTML beginner course. And if you want the source code of this website, you can email me to maskheadquartered@gmail.com, and I will send you the source code. Don't forget to subscribe because it helps a lot. So see you in the next course.